we are going to do... We're going to do a little Jon Stewart, all right? Now, due to the fact we're currently still in the copyright fortress, I am not going to play the video of this because, for obvious reasons. But I did want to share like a tail end of his return to The Daily Show, which I finally got around to watching. And I would have to say, like, apparently it upset a lot of like liberal viewers because he was mean about Joe Biden's age, but like he puts forward a pretty solid case for why people are suspect about Joe Biden's age. The fact that like it's the hardest job in the world and he's 81 years old, it's reasonable to have like some questions about that, right? And apparently a lot of lefty liberals are like treating this as like essentially like sacrilege. But I wanted to play like the last minute or so of that segment because it's important, I think. It gets to the heart of what I've been talking about on my channel so often. The importance of the importance of making the most out of the time we have between elections. Because it's not enough to just go out there and vote. We actually have to get out there and do the dirty work, Jon Stewart, and I think he's learned a lot in the last decade that he's been kind of off The Daily Show. He did a lot of work to get 9/11 first responders the healthcare coverage that they needed. He got familiar with the entire process of pushing through all of this legislation because he rolled up his sleeves and he got it done. He worked with 9/11 first responders to push this through into law, and it took a whole fuck ton of work to make happen. And like how you can get involved is pretty simple. Phone bank, canvas, you knock on doors, you call people, you turn out the vote, but you also get involved with campaigns. You get involved in the primaries. You push for more progressive candidates. And if there isn't one, consider running yourself. Show up to school board meetings. Show up to like public hearings. Make yourself the most inconvenient motherfucker you possibly can, because that's how you get things done in politics. You make yourself the squeakiest wheel. And then you get all that sweet grease. Organizing is polite harassment. I like that phrasing, GamerG. It is polite, organized harassment bordering on civil disobedience. And you do that by organizing in your communities, by getting other people to be squeaky along with you, by getting other people to believe that things can be better. And I just wanted to play this because it resonated with me so hard.
Look, the next 9 months or so, and maybe more than that depending on the coup schedule, they're gonna suck. You're gonna be getting emails with insane subject lines like, "Hello, John, it's Chuck Schumer. Donald Trump is right behind you with a knife. Donate." You're going to get inundated with robocalls and push polls and real polls, and people are going to tell you to rock the vote and be the vote and vote the vote and finger bang the vote. And it's all going...
You do have to finger bang the vote. That's just a rule now. It got passed by Joe Biden personally. We are all now required to finger bang the vote, and there's nothing we can do about it. That's the new generation of voting machines, actually. They got rid of filling in the bubble sheets, or even the touch screen. Now you got to finger bang the machine. It's really a revolutionary way of controlling a computer.
Going to make you feel like Tuesday, November 5th is the only day that matters. And that day does matter. But man, November 6th ain't nothing to sneeze at, or November 7th. If your guy loses, bad things might happen. But the country is not over. And if your guy wins, the country is in no way saved. I've learned one thing over these last 9 years, and I was glib at best and probably dismissive at worst about this. The work of making this world resemble one that you would prefer to live in is a lunch pail job, day in and day out, where thousands of committed, anonymous, smart, and dedicated people bang on closed doors and pick up those that are fallen and grind away on issues till they get a positive result, and even then have to stay on to make sure that result holds.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is reflected in what I talk about on this show about, the long grind of history. We didn't overthrow feudal lords without the long grind of building up local power, of building up our bonds with one another, of amassing the amount of support necessary to overthrow people who literally portrayed themselves as gods. That took us thousands of years. And so our dream of a better future might take a long, long time. But that doesn't make it any less worthy of pursuit. And yeah, a lot of us, most of us, are gonna die. We're not gonna have like this lasting legacy that's gonna ring throughout all future generations. Most people don't get that. Most people don't have the positioning in society or the power in society to be the pivotal person who, fires their proton torpedoes down the ventilation hatch of the Death Star. Most people don't get to be Luke Skywalker in the rebellion. Most people get to be, the thankless folks who make the machinery of it run. And I think a lot more people on the left, a lot more of us, a lot more leftists, a lot more people who call themselves socialists or communists, we need to get our head out of our asses. And we need to do away with this illusion that we are going to be the leader of the revolution. And we need to come to grips with the reality that we are going to be the people in the muck, doing the work of organizing, doing the thankless task of moving our school boards, of moving our city councils, of moving our, comptrollers, moving our local prosecutors farther to the left. We need to educate ourselves about the bureaucracy of the places we live in so that we can actually learn where the levers of power are, where we can apply pressure. And then we need to do the work of getting to know people in our community. And yeah, that is part of the work. Part of the work is learning about your neighbors, building bonds, having cookouts, eating food together. That is part of the work. Building these friendships. That's part of the work. It's not just calling and canvassing, it's also building these connections and building your skills so that you can do more and more and more and help others learn how to do more and more and more. And this is possible, guys. at the baseline, at the bottom level of what we're working on, the foundation needs to be a belief that we can make things better. And then to pick up our lunch pail and get to fucking work. If your work is like virtue signaling on Twitter, you're not doing the work, okay? You need to be doing something tangible. And I think where a lot of people get confused is that, you need to do something tangible. Okay, so the only way you can organize is offline. No, because the online world and the offline world are the same world. There's crossover there. But if you're a meaningless virtue signaler online, there's no reason to believe you're anything else than that offline. So do the real work online and offline. Reach normies. Build community, wherever that is for you. And then make a path forward where we can work together to make things better. Because the status quo isn't better. It's just not. And the only way the status quo gets made better is when we roll up our sleeves and get to fucking work. So, I hope that you guys take away from this channel, the one thing, if anything, you guys take away from this channel, is that things can be better. And that it takes work to then make that hope, that belief, a reality. How do we start doing this work? Well, I mean, I would say getting involved with DSA is a great step. Getting involved with local groups is a great step. We will, as we go forward, we'll be getting involved with Progressive Victory as a community, which is a organization that helps organize canvassing and phone banking for progressive candidates in races across the country. And I need to stress, when we get involved in like the general election this year, what we're doing is staunching the bleeding. We're halting the advance of fascism, or even in the best case scenario, pushing it back. But that's not where the work ends. That's not where the work ends. That's the beginning of the work. The same way, like, putting pressure on a wound is only the beginning of healing. Okay? But we need to stop the bleeding first. And getting involved with phone banking, with canvassing in person, these are excellent ways for you to build up your skills to organize elsewhere in your community, to organize elsewhere, to organize campaigns in your state or local area. These are necessary skills for how we engage with the democratic process. And more than that, they're also necessary skills if we want to engage in any other kind of organizational building, in any kind of social building. They are necessary skills. So why not build them up by putting pressure on the wound that is currently festering in America? That's my pitch anyway. So, build up your skills in the general election this year, and then we can start doing even cooler shit when it comes to the primaries, when it comes to our local elections, when it comes to local campaigns, when it comes to statewide campaigns. Because remember, guys, when we got involved in the Wisconsin Supreme Court race, my community's tiny. But you know what? Those of you who put forward your time, who organized with me and other online communities with Progressive Victory, you guys made the difference in that race, and now we have politically unfucked an entire state in the United States. Wisconsin has democracy again because we got involved, because we rolled up our sleeves, because we got the work. And we can do that everywhere. Not just in Wisconsin, not just in a statewide race, but everywhere. So I hope you guys will join me as we go forward into all that. Especially when it comes to like low turnout for state and local races, this community alone can sometimes be the difference between like a left-leaning win and a fascist takeover of an institution. So, let's get to work. Just do it, indeed. Anyway, thank you, Jon Stewart. I'm really glad he's back on the Daily Show. He's incredibly talented, and like dude was gone for almost a decade from the Daily Show, hasn't missed a beat. My God.